What's up, y'all? This is Alex from the Rim Review. The Rim Review is a page that offers in-depth player analysis and gives nuance to the way you watch basketball. In this series, we're going to be covering every single prospect in the upcoming NBA draft. In today's episode, we're going to be looking at Buzelis, who I think is one of the most slept-on prospects in this draft. When looking at Matas's game, there are numerous offensive strengths that stand out. The first of which is his touch shots. Matas has really nice touch and is able to use his 6'11 size to get to the rim and score. Secondly, I would consider him to be a very good straight line driver, and he's able to attack closeouts, rip through, and just drive like straight. He's not going to make multiple moves to get by you, but he is efficient in changing speeds to score. Finally, I would consider him to be a pretty solid cutter, where he averages 1.3 points per possession. There are still numerous offensive weaknesses to Matas's game. The first of which is the fact that he's not the most physical screener. While there are times where he's able to set nice touch screens or slip, he never really sets the hard screens that you would like to see from someone of his size. Secondly, he's a very inconsistent shooter and shot 27% from beyond the arc last season. I think that his shot is actually much better than 27%, but it's his streakiness that worries scouts. Next is just his overall physicality. He needs to put on more weight and he needs more muscle. Time and time again, he settles, picks up the ball early, and is honestly just forced out because of his lack of strength. Finally, he needs to get much better at protecting the basketball, where he only had a .91 assist to turnover ratio. This possession, Matas does a really nice job getting a rebound here and showcasing flashes of being a solid ball handler and pushing in transition. What I like to see here is the fact that he sizes up his man and has a nice right-handed touch. Those are the type of plays that you're going to see from him. Right here, he pushes the pace again, slows down, and then crosses and makes a move to score. Really good stuff. He's not necessarily going to just outrun you, but he looks very comfortable here and has shown flashes of handling the ball well. On this possession, he struggles to get by his man. When this initial move doesn't work and he feels this contact, he spins and immediately picks up the ball. Having that high pickup point is bad because it forces you to take a shot like that. He just doesn't have the explosiveness to get by you. On this possession right here, he has a one-on-one, but really takes a soft approach. I would like to see him play off of 2 feet and jump into this man and draw a foul and score, hopefully. Or if it's really that bad, you can jump stop and dump off. However, a fadeaway floater is just not the play. On this possession right here, Matas is not the primary ball handler in transition, but he runs the floor really hard and catches a lob dunk. Now let's move on and watch him in the pick and roll. On this possession, he does a really nice job setting the screen, which would be known as a touch screen, and he gets a basket. For those of you who don't know what a touch screen is, it's pretty much when you almost push off your man to open out like this, and he has a nice bucket. Maybe that was a charge, maybe it wasn't, but it was good to see. On this next clip, he's going to be involved in a pick and pop action. What I love about this is 2 things. First of which, he runs to the screen really hard. He's sprinting right here and chopping his feet. Secondly, he pops really quickly, doesn't even make contact, he just kind of taps his man, pops out, and has a smooth looking jump shot. His shot looks much better than someone who shoots 27%. Right here, he pops again, and it just doesn't fall. On this possession, Matas is once again going to set a touch screen, and I like the screen itself, but I don't love him forcing the shot. I think these types of touch screens are honestly what he relies on. Amazing pass also. And he's not going to set physical screens to help guys get open. On this play, Buzelis is going to come off a dribble handoff and pull a nice 3. Once again, his shot looks so much better than 27%. Doesn't look amazing, but it looks good. On this possession, he's once again going to come off a DHO and knock it down. He doesn't just shoot coming off of DHOs, and we're going to see that right here in this clip. Right here, he comes off a dribble handoff, gets downhill, and has a nice extended finish. What I love to see here is the fact that he was not bothered by the slight swipe of number 11 and continues to keep his dribble, and just look at that length. His length and size is so promising, and it is what superstars could have. Right here, it's a lot less, and superstars don't do this, and it just once again is a reminder of his complete lack of physicality and size. Now let's watch Matas attempt to score in the posts. Right here, he's going to back down his man and try to get the ball. He doesn't look very confident getting it, but he does. And wow, what good footwork for that drop step right there. Once again, he's very much a finesse player, and that's what you're going to see. Right here, he faces up, and what I love seeing here is he gets his balance, and it's amazing what happens when you're patient. You play off a 2, and boom, reverse finish. On this possession right here, he opens up, he has a shorter defender on him, so he's going to back him down and go over the left shoulder with a right-hand touch shot. Those are the shots that he loves. On this possession, he's going to cut, and boom, great wing backdoor cut there. Show the athleticism. On this next possession, he's going to cut from the corner. He really is a good cutter, and I love seeing him move without the ball. Great cut here, and a nice finish. Cutting is something that you don't really notice that much unless you're looking for it, but when you do, it's great to see. Backdoor there. Ooh, that could have been tough. Now let's watch him in isolation. Right here, he's going to get the ball at the elbow, and what I love is, once again, this jump stop right here to get off a floater. Maybe that's a travel, but I like the idea of playing off of 2 feet. On this play right here, he's going to be in isolation again, rip through, and spin to score. He's a very patient player, and he's making shots like that. He's definitely not going to use his strength to score, but I love his finesse finishes. Right here, it's a slow Euro step, almost intentionally, very Kyle Anderson-esque, and he gets a nice layup. On this play, it's another isolation, and he's able to get to his spots. He immediately rips through and gets into a nice mid-range fade. He's definitely more of a mid-range player, and it's almost KD-esque, the types of mid-range shots he takes. Obviously not as good, but he loves to shoot them. On this possession right here, he's going to get the ball, size up Jack White, and then have a nice finish. Really great stuff. On this possession, he's guarded by Ousmane Dieng. He crosses, makes multiple moves, and uses that length to score. It's these types of plays that are just super impressive, and I'm sure you're going to see them on draft night. On this possession, Matas is going to get the ball once again in isolation. Right here, he sizes up his man with an empty side, but what I hate to see is just an overall soft take. He gets bumped right here, and it causes him to almost lose the basketball, and then he's off balance. Really, there could be a kick right here because 31 is fully committing to you shooting, but you force up a bad shot. On this possession, Matas is once again going to try to go in isolation. He refuses this ball screen, but once again, it's just awkward. These types of finesse shots are not what you want to take, and it shows you that he's extremely raw. On this play, he has a switch, makes multiple moves, but when you turn your back to your guy, it's an easy steal every time. You gotta protect the basketball. On this possession, it's another instance with Matas having the ball. Tries to get to his spot, but he dribbles directly into the gap. What I mean by that is number 11 is coming over and is completely prepared to meet you. This should be a skip, or not a skip, a spray, and you should hit him. He doesn't make that pass and loses the basketball. On this possession, Matas showcases a little bit more of what he can do offensively, and these are the flashes that excite me. He sizes up his man, and a nice step back three. This is much better than a 27% three-point shooter. Now, let's watch him in just spot-up situations. Right here, Matas is going to drift to the corner and knock down a three. It looks good. It's a nice release. I think he can be a much better shooter. On this possession, once again, Matas is trying to get into space, catches the ball in the wing, and knocks it down. One thing that is important is being able to attack closeouts, and we're going to watch that right here from Matas. Matas is in the corner and rips through and plays off of both feet to have a nice reverse finish. Boom. Great. On this possession, Matas is going to try to maybe get a little too creative, and as you see right here, this pump fake doesn't really create separation, and then he just loses the basketball. His inability to make this pass out here and just dribbling right into the help is bad. Now, let's move on and talk about Matas' game defensively. Matas is a really good driving line defender and moves his feet well with great length. This has led to him having pretty solid switchability, which is very exciting, especially in today's modern NBA. Secondly, he has really great and high-level rim protection, where he got 1.8 blocks per game last season. Finally, he's very aware off ball and is frequently in the correct spot, whether it's the MIG, the gap, or anything in between. He's ready and able to play help defense. When looking at his defensive weaknesses, only a couple of things stand out. The first of which is that he's not amazing when it comes to fighting through screens. His ability to bully a ball screen needs work. However, at 6'11", it's not something that you would have been expected to learn at this point. Secondly, he really struggles when he goes against physical bigs, so if he has to go against somebody that's more of a veteran, somebody tougher, they typically are able to use their size and wear him down. Now, let's move on to defense and watch Matas Buzelis. On this possession right here, Matas does a really awesome job protecting the rim in transition. Great block. One thing that I would like to see him do better at is look how he turns his back multiple times. You can't do that. However, great block and way to use your length to protect the basket. On this clip, Matas does another great job running to the spot and swatting the ball. He has great instincts and is very skillful when it comes to protecting the rim. On this clip right here, Matas is initially getting pushed back in the paint by a big posting, but Matas has great instincts and knows to move over and block the shot. On this possession, Matas is once again going to be in position to protect the rim. Right here, he does something really interesting, which is help off of the strong side corner. This is something that's becoming more prevalent in the NBA, however, it's still not the trend. Matas leaves his guy in the corner, comes over, and says, "Get that shit out of here." On this possession, it's another instance of Matas in help side. Matas is a little late here, as he's supposed to be the MIG, so it's not his best off-ball clip, and you need to be the MIG because you have to be able to catch this guy in this spot. Matas is late, but it doesn't matter when you have arms like he does. When talking about MIG, here's an example of him doing a good job being the MIG. Right here, he's maybe a half a step late, but it's really hard for guys to be on time, so I don't mind it. And then he blocks the ball. Great stuff. On this possession, Matas is once again active off ball. Right here, he's being aware. He's ready to catch this roll man right here. And then once this teammate gets back, he starts moving forward and gets a steal on the pass that was aimed towards Jordan Miller. On this clip, Matas is really active in the gaps. Right here, what I love to see from Matas is the fact that he helps off of his man, and what's really impressive is most of the time, this is exactly where you want to be, where he is. But most of the time, defenders are about here, and then so they're out to in. You want to be in, and then if the guy gets past you or passes it, then you want to go out. And Matas did a perfect job being in to out there. Now let's move on and watch him in driving line situations. Right here, Matas is going up against the ball, and he just stays in front of him, and just look at how great that length is. That length is going to make up for a lot. On this possession, Matas is in another driving line scenario, and he does a great job staying in front of his man and guarding with his chest. I love the fact that he's able to guard without fouling, body up, and get a block. This is another really interesting instance of driving line defense from Matas. He gets there, his man does push him a little bit, but once again, Matas' length is just different. On this clip, Matas is in another driving line situation. Driving line defense is huge, so that's why we're watching so much of it. Right here, I would like to see Matas maybe have a higher point of contact, and what I mean by that is instead of being here when the ball is caught, maybe just be like a step and a half further up. It's not horrible, but then he does a good job staying in front of his man and keeping his hands straight up. Right here, it's another instance of driving line defense. Matas stays in front of his guy, initially gets beat on the cross, but recovers with high effort. These are the types of things that you're going to see, and he is a really good defender that's not talked about enough for that. Right here, another great driving line play. On this possession, he's going to close out, get a good stop there, come back, be the MIG, close out again, and then be in a good position and just look at that. Really impressive. There are some times where he does get beat, and right here, Jarris Walker does him dirty and then bricks the three, or airballs it. Not great. Now, let's watch Matas in the post. Right here, going against Kenny Lofton, Matas is honestly just out-muscled. Granted, Kenny Lofton is massive, but NBA players are strong, and Matas needs to get stronger. Right here, same thing against Chris Siva, and he draws a foul. On this clip, Matas is in a closeout situation. Matas is in the gaps off ball, which is good, but then when this pass is made, he just doesn't take the best path and is fouled. Matas needs to have better footwork and be in an athletic stance to avoid that from happening. Matas Buzelis is an extremely raw yet intriguing prospect. Matas Buzelis has a 6'11 frame and has shown flashes of being able to put the ball on the floor, defend, and attack closeouts at a decent rate. I'm really excited about him as a prospect and think that he could do great things if he's able to clean up a couple of issues. First off, he needs to become a much better screen setter, and he's typically not very physical. If he works on that and can become a more consistent shooter, his offensive game can be off the charts. Defensively, I'd love to see him put on a few more pounds of muscle and become a better screen navigator. If all of this occurs, I think Matas' ceiling could be an all-star potential. What I think is a more realistic role for him is being a connective starting piece as a third or fourth option offensively in an NBA lineup. However, his floor could be one if he's not able to develop NBA-level physicality where he's out of the league in 3 to 5 years. Overall, I would grade him getting drafted anywhere from 3 to 5, and honestly, it's really hard for me to not put him ahead of Rufus Scher on the overall big board. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back at it again tomorrow.